Welcome back to Evil Popcorn. We'll just go around and introduce ourselves. I am Mr. Popcorn, and who do I have? No, I won't do this because it could be different on anyone else's screen. The one who
I'm like,
just
where am I sitting?
Who wants to go next?
I'll go. I I am Scream Queen, a long-time supporter of doesthedogdie.com.
Oh, rough. Yeah. I'm the Baron. In case anyone was wondering, the Baron name comes from when I used to be a steampunker.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, there you go. Inside baseball.
I have to address it, I guess, just quickly because, the 3 or 4 people out there who know this, who listen to the stuff that from the beginning, thank you. I've called myself the Cinema Baron before, yeah? And
with an S?
With an
Is that
S,
right?
yeah. Used to be called Cinema Baron. So, it's all good, of course. And I like the name the Baron. I like it. I'm glad it's still being used. Yeah, just thought I should.
I just scream.
Go on.
Oh
Scream
no,
Queen.
sorry.
That's all right.
I was saying I just scream a lot. That's just
fair enough. But it's royalty, but it's not like up yourself royalty. Like it's not like a duke
you're not
or
the
a king.
Yeah.
That would be too much,
Yeah, I don't want to get ideas above my station.
Yeah, like imagine calling yourself like a queen or something. That would be embarrassing.
Yeah, I agree, Scream Queen. And we've got a Mister over here, Mr. Popcorn, like no captain or general.
No doctorate or...
Just humble, or potential serial killer, which was the the first time I came out with the name. So what do you think of this name? Fine, if you're a serial killer. I like that. That's good. I'm going to adopt that.
That's a good review.
Yeah.
I mean, it is. The podcast is called Evil Popcorn. Not dark, not spooky, but straight. So, I think it works. This movie that I recommended, The Well, is what we're doing. Yes, we're continuing. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for joining us. It's not a particularly evil film.
No.
When I was watching it, I'm glad it stood up. After 20 years, plus years after having first watched it. This film is 26 years old, made in 97, came out in 98, around that time. Do you guys reckon this is a horror? Is my first question, just to throw this out, because this was my kind of first question when we watching. Whoever wants to go.
I think it falls neatly into Australian Gothic horror.
Yeah.
It's not a slasher.
Cool.
It's not gory. It's got Gothic overtones. Like if you could pick it up and transplant it to the UK, it would be on the moors in Wales somewhere, and you could do the story exactly the same way.
Same with like American, like South, like Southern Gothic vibes.
The American Gothic,
for sure. I mean, obviously this film is inherently Australian, but I agree. It's very Gothic. I would say that it's horror. I would vehemently disagree with anyone that thinks it's a drama.
This is interesting.
It has
because the mainstream.
It has dramatic. Yeah.
It's put out there to the mainstream,
elements?
marketed as a drama or psychological drama, and
I would say
those involved.
A thriller.
Thriller.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know that I'd go that far. I like the Gothic horror sort of label for this.
I liked that Baron a lot, and I never thought of that, but I absolutely know what Australian Gothic is. I've done it at university, and it just completely slipped my mind. But that's absolutely perfect. For me. Thank you for bringing it up.
I went into this viewing it that way because I saw someone just like compare it to Picnic at Hanging Rock and just that sort of same setting. Like it's obviously very different. But that just like genre wise, I
Yeah.
saw that comparison, which I thought was
Yeah.
interesting.
I think a much more. That movie did cross my mind. I don't hate that movie. I don't like it as much as
I don't
a
know
lot
it
of other
very
people
well.
do. I thought that this is a much. I see where they're coming from, and it slightly works. Yeah, this is a far more engaging and interesting film, in my opinion, than Picnic at Hanging Rock. Better female
Yeah.
characters to start. Yeah, I'll just say that. Far better female characters
Yeah.
to start. Yeah. Far better actors.
I've just
Maybe
done a little bit of a
sorry.
I've just done a little bit of a Google while we're talking, and obviously, Picnic at Hanging Rock comes up. Nick Cave comes up. Let's see, Gothic fiction. Yeah, that's not a super helpful. And
You
no, I'm not
guys,
going through your paywall.
sorry.
So good.
Yeah, no, fuck the paywall. Do you guys know The Loved Ones?
Yes.
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm going to do that one at some point. For me, this was kind of
Okay, good.
very kind of if A24 did The Loved Ones almost, you know what I mean? This is a spooky psychological drama, tinged with horror. Yeah, there's horror there.
Yeah.
But it's very psychological and it's very arty, but it's not wanky or pretentious because it remains to be very much an Aussie rural movie. Because this is also like the horrors of rural life, you know. And I can say that because
Yeah.
I grew up as a kid in that kind of isolation and that kind of environment. I'm not saying it ever got to that level. But in this movie, we are questioning insanity versus, deception. Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we
It's a fine line.
Welcome back. Okay, so yeah, we are doing The Well. Yes.
Yes.
1997, and we're going all the way back to wink wink. Initial impressions, yeah.
Yes.
Yes, we are. Okay, so the Baron, initial impressions.
Look, honestly, it is a piece of art. It's beautifully shot. The acting is amazing. The locations were beautiful and creepy. As I said previously, the gothic horror thing was really a strong theme with it. I've got a couple of problems with some of the stuff in the film, but it didn't detract from the beauty of the piece of art that it was.
Nicely put.
Yeah.
Nicely put.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. I was really surprised by this film, went in knowing very, very little about it, intentionally. And I, initially was sort of thrown by what genre of film is this? It takes a little to sort of reveal itself, but I by the end I had learned to really like that about the film, the slow creeping element of it. Yeah, I I want to say that I didn't think it. I don't vehemently disagree that it's a drama. I just don't think it's a cut and dry drama. I said that before, and immediately I'm like, okay, no. let me take a less aggressive approach. But I do agree it is the very Australian Gothic, like the Baron said.
Yeah.
And that is something that I love. I love the Gothic genre, and I think it is very nicely done.
Yeah, no, I'm glad this stood up after 20 plus years. Yeah, definitely. And what I enjoyed about it back then, I enjoyed about it now and could appreciate more because I understood it more because, I'm just older and smarter, basically. And I really enjoyed the performances as well. And I could see, with a more experienced eye, the performances definitely. And I love what you said about the Australian Gothic framework's not the word, but the kind of canvas, if you will. Of it.
I think the only scene that you would put into it today, like if you were filming this in 2023, that would change any of it at all is you would have them rock up to that first house and pull out their phone and go, "Oh, no service," and then you'd never see a phone again.
Mhm.
And then that would be the
Mhm.
only change to put it in the 21st century.
Absolutely. Yeah, nice. But there is, very nice elements to this film, and certainly for not a lack of experience. Everyone had done some stuff up to this point, but they're at early stages in their career. This is the Wells 1997. We are, yes, continuing with our Australian horror series. The Well is directed by Samantha Lang. It stars Pamela Rabe, a bit of an Australian legend, certainly in terms of TV, it seems. Originates from, what was it, Baron? Ontario or Ottawa?
Yeah, Ontario, Canada.
Thank you. Yeah. Miranda Otto, of course, I would say friend of the pod.
Friend
2
of
movies
the
now.
pod.
2 movies.
Yeah.
She's heavily associated with us at this point, all things considered. Paul Chubb, he writes a bit back in the day. He did some stuff behind the screen, production and writing. And Frank Wilson, rest in peace. Yeah, didn't get much from him at all. Didn't like his character from the Catch.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I have a note about that quite early on. Old
Me
weirdos.
too. Yeah, I said, Dad is a creep. Ooh,
Yeah,
I think I have
yeah.
written down.
It would have been an entirely different movie if he'd stuck around for the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Which, very interesting that you say that.
But we'll get there. We'll get there. Sorry, not to jump in. It is based on the 1986 novel, the same name, by Elizabeth Jolley. Okay, I'll do a quick synopsis. Yes, and the synopsis is brief, but that's intentional, because if you go into too much detail, you're going to give away stuff. It's very simple, but it's also very complicated, this film. Yeah. If there ever was a chess match or jiu-jitsu tournament turned into a film, this would be it. A young girl named Catherine and her older friend Hester live on an isolated farm run by Hester and her father Francis. Catherine works as a maid and wants to leave because there's too much work. Hester, however, becomes attracted to Catherine. Well, yeah, easy Wikipedia, and holds her there, promising to give her less work in the future. When Francis dies, Hester decides to sell the farm for cash. Francis being the father, they moved to a small cottage on the edge of the farm and planned to go to Europe, but a tragic accident and the theft of their money changed their plans. And that's all they say, which is enough for now. Yeah.
Yep, that makes sense.
Okay, so it won some awards. Including Pamela Rabe won a whole bunch of awards for her performances. One of the nominations is Golden Palm Award at Cannes, which is a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
But even though it was lauded, quite a few, awards for, form and, content for like cinematography and performance. The cinematographer, Mandy Walker, is known for Elvis, Mulan, and Australia. Yeah, so you've got a pro there. Perhaps back in the day, because it was a little too blue, but I get it. When you're young, you want to express yourself. Definitely just want to get it all out there and try it. Totally get that. But it was made for 3.4 million, but only grossed, like, I'm talking about 15,000. No, sorry, my apologies. It grossed about 400,000 around the globe. Yeah, but that's not even 500,000.
No.
Yeah.
It's not counting like VHS or DVD sales either.
No, it's not. Yeah, that's everything. Yeah.
Okay, so that's everything.
That's everything.
Yeah, it's definitely a hidden buried gem, if you will.
A bargain bin.
A bargain bin. You have to reach right down in there.
But undeservedly so, though. That's why I wanted to bring this up
for
as
sure.
well.
I mean,
yeah.
Very prestigious film festivals, like it toured, globally. So it's surprising for sure.
Yeah.
And that could be, down to marketing.
Yeah. But I mean, I lived in regional New South Wales at the time, and our cinema, I would see everything going. Like, I think I saw Strictly Ballroom like 6 times just because it was the only thing on. And
Okay.
I don't remember seeing it,
Okay.
and I don't think it played in Ballina or Lismore. So yeah,
Okay. And where was it shot? We brought this off. You
New
brought this
South
Cooma,
off up here.
Wales.
Cooma in New
Where?
South Wales.
Cooma, New South Wales. There
Cooma,
you go.
Cooma.
Thank
Shout
you.
out to all the
Thank
Cooma people listening.
you. Yes. All of
They
our
might
fans in
be.
Cooma. There could be one. There could be one.
Yeah.
Um,
Get in touch.
Send an email to the pod if you're from Kuma.
Music, 1 in a Million, Trickster, the song that came up about 5 times.
The music was great.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Stephen Ray was the composer. Yeah, just to, cover all of the music there. Again, shot by Mandy Walker, edited by Danny Cooper. I think it's Danny? Yes. And let's get into it. Yeah, that's everything.
Yeah, get into it. Keen.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Opening shot. Catherine is dancing in a punk. Catherine is dancing in a pub. It's a kind of pub, it's a rural pub. Yeah, as soon as you see the shot, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And it is Miranda Otto just basically dancing side to side, whipping her hair around to some punk grunge. Yeah, punk grunge music, while Pamela Rabe, who will now be known as Hester, is watching on with that strange Hester look. But we'll get into that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When she went to the neck of her dress, I thought she was going to pull out a crucifix.
A cross. Yeah, right? I was like,
oh, this is a
cross. She's dressed very conservatively, and Catherine is in this sort of metallic crop top and has this sort of shaggy hair.
97
and she has
Australia to a T, if I'm not mistaken, Baron. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, pretty much.
My only research into this is Kath and Kim, so I don't mean to, no offense. But yeah, and already you see in the first shot, you see the difference between both of them. Yeah, between generations, between lifestyles, between views, etc., which also again plays a big part in this movie. Yeah, because it is about these two and their relationship in this rural environment, which is never, is it named? The town?
No.
Sorry, I've only just thought of this.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
No, it wasn't named. Okay. It was an unnamed Australian town.
Unnamed Australian town, yes. Okay, it's just the homestead and the bar.
But so little of it was shot in the town.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's at the homestead.
I mean, I guess that just sort of adds to the isolation element.
Absolutely. And then there's the accident. This is this is where we're up to. Wink. Well, Miranda's she's this will make sense later on, people. She's recently learned to drive, yes, and so she's getting all excited. And then she runs over someone, yes, in the dark, because she's I don't know if she's drunk, but she's very giddy, and Hester's panicking the whole time, wanting her to calm down and slow down, but she does not, and she hits someone, blackout, boom, and then the well. Yes, okay.
Yeah.
So
I was worried it was another kangaroo.
Me too. And I said I have a note that is just like, not a kangaroo this time.
Yeah, I have the same note.
But the roo does come up in echoes, yes, because at the start of the movie on the signs there is a kangaroo, and there's the road, and there's the swerving, yes. And and later on, we'll talk about it, but then the roo comes up again, yes. It's not
the roo.
The roo.
Still an accident though. Still a car accident in this one.
It's a thing we've discovered.
Yeah. There's a lot of open roads, I guess, in the Australian landscape.
Now, okay, so what did we think? Because it does switch from this. So spoilers, people, going forward, because we need to go into everything. We even need to talk about the end, because it's too complicated not to. Yeah. Okay.
So I was confused by the accident, thinking that they were going to the country, which is immediately after the credits, to avoid someone being arrested for murdering someone on a road. So it wasn't
Mhm.
until a
Mhm.
flashback actually became
Mhm.
in continuity of the film that I realized, oh
Mm.
no, wait, that was a flashback. Now we've caught up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I also wasn't sure where we were timeline-wise, but yeah, I was just sort of like letting the confusion
Mhm.
just
Mhm.
sit, and then I was just like, okay, where are we going? It was I again, I was not sure what I was in for, even at that point. I was very in the dark, I guess, about what
Oh, yeah.
was going to happen. I don't think I ever could have predicted how the movie would unfold from that.
Yeah. I didn't look anything up before I watched it as well, so I was in the dark as to what was going on, which is probably the best way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I recommend that actually. People going through, go into the
Yeah,
dark.
so don't
with
listen
us.
to this.
Yeah.
Stop listening right now.
Go and watch the
And then
movie.
come back.
It's on you.
Yeah.
It's only on YouTube.
For free.
Yeah, but for free. And it
And
plays
it's
pretty
not too
well.
bad quality.
Hold on. Also, TCM Classic Movies. If you subscribe to that in the
Oh.
Internet Film Archive, which makes it global for people.
Oh,
VPN
yeah.
if you need
Okay.
to, of course, but that gives it more access. Yeah.
Cool.
Where are we up to? How do we get?
We're arriving at the
House.
house.
Homestead.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. The accident. Yes, and I was going to say my bit about the accident. Yes, my opinions on the accident. This was like the start of Ozark season 4 car accident as well. And then I forgot about it until it comes back. See, again, we have to spoil it when it comes back later. When we're here we are, we're back. That's right. Yeah. And I'm always happy when production does that to me, for me. Yeah. All right. Okay. So yes, credits. And they arrive at the homestead. Now, it was interesting with the accident because I've just this note here, the high point of conflict, the tipping point, and functioning as the film's beginning was an interesting approach. It was an
but without you
approach.
knowing it.
Without you knowing is interesting. And they did exactly the same on Ozark season 4 at the very start.
Yeah.
I do like their approach. Okay, so
I think it's not necessarily like the most innovative like way to sort of throw back. I enjoy it, but like you could argue. But I do think as a way to introduce us to the characters, it is a very clever cold open just to show how they are like the antithesis of one another, but they are together and we don't know why. I think that is intriguing. I saw that and I was like, okay, what are we in for?
Yeah, absolutely. Because straight away after the accident, Hester's singing in German and talking about the simple way of life, and Catherine, Miranda Otto, does not look impressed.
She doesn't look happy.
I thought one thing I thought that was interesting is when they show up to the house, they're introduced to the Hester's father and his friend are at the house, and she announces they've fired the other housekeeper or maid that they had for the house, Molly. Now there is Catherine, and Hester says something like, "She's for me." She says something very like, this is like Catherine's for me, like, which I thought was very interesting, like right off the bat. That sort of establishes, or it claims something about their relationship very early on, which is a very sort of strange, complex relationship. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to say the least. To say the least. And it's and this also relates back to the keys, yes, as well. Who owns the
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. There's a
Tones of
definite power
ownership.
play. Yeah, absolutely.
But the dad
Mm.
sucks.
The dad
Creepy
does
old
suck.
dude.
He immediately like lifts up her skirt and talks about how
Oh.
she needs to fatten up.
Yeah.
Very gross. And it's sort of, it becomes clearer and clearer like why Hester is the way that she is.
Yeah.
I think.
And it doesn't talk a lot about the background. You don't know anything about Hester's background at this point of time, or Catherine's or Kathy's either. And so that makes you just more uneasy as well. But certainly when you look at the way it's just accepted and, let's just carry on with dinner. Yeah.
Yes.
With it as well. Just don't mind father, just apologizing for him and carrying on. Glad he didn't stick around. Glad he didn't stick around for too much longer. So yeah, she's in the house, Catherine, and she's walking around, and you mentioned Australian Gothic, and yes, and it's already kind of like very shadowy, very obscured. And she's walking around looking for a television.
Yeah.
Is there a television?
Because she finds this out because she heads towards Hester, who is singing piano. Sorry, is it German she's singing? I didn't look it up.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Sorry.
Gesundheit.
Gesundheit.
Duncan.
Yeah, she's sort of teaching Kathy this melody, I guess, on the piano. So it's almost like this like tutelage element. Yeah, I don't know. This sort of muse.
It's weird.
And tutor vibe. It's very. I feel like everything I learned at least to begin with about their relationship was not contrary from the last thing, but like it would surprise me, and I was like, oh, so it's like that. Oh no, it's actually like that. And I was just like, which I think is a good thing if you're at the beginning of a story. I don't want to know. I don't want to understand how everything works immediately.
Absolutely.
But it was very like, obviously they're the focus of the film, so I was like, where is this going?
Yeah.
It's bizarre.
Yeah. Because they become attached to each other very quickly from, learning how to, when Hester discovers that Kathy has a very good voice. Yeah. And picks up the song quite quickly and has the aptitude to sing the song quite beautifully. And there's a little sparkling. I could argue that's the first spark of their friendship. Their
I saw
infatuation, obsession with each other. But we'll go into all of that. Sorry.
Yeah, someone described her as an ingenue, which I think is like sort of a young, talented. Like
I get you.
That's a terrible definition, but it's sort of like
ingenue kind of it kind of gives you an innocent vibe, and I don't think she's innocent, not even remotely.
Even from the start, before things start to unfurl.
From the start, she seemed a little bit touched, like a little bit.
Something had happened, perhaps.
Yeah. I think that's where my confusion came in. It's like, oh no, she's putting that the terrible accident they had that's forced them to come to the country behind her, and she's just not like interfacing with reality.
Oh, I see. You're counting that as the narrative there as well. So that was adding to your perception of her as well. Yeah. Gotcha.
I guess she does have a sort of like naivety to her surroundings and like what she was sort of in for. I guess in her like disappointment of her surroundings. So like maybe she's not an ingenue, but I would argue that that's how Hester sort of sees her.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, 100%.
like she is faultless in Hester's eyes.
Yeah.
At this stage, yeah.
Because with Hester's little, patriarchal nightmare that she's living in there as well, you can see like she may as well be Amish, but the worst kind.
Yeah.
I don't want to insult the Amish there, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean? It's truly
strong
wraps up
community.
conservative Australian rural nightmare. Yeah.
Yes.
I've experienced it in New Zealand. It exists in New Zealand. So I definitely see it. It's just a bit browner, a bit more tea stained over here.
It's
but it's a very similar
I guess
thing.
a little bit, like a bird in a cage type situation. Yeah.
So she sees Catherine as like, even from the start when she sees her like head banging in the pub, she has this glint in her eye, and she is kind of, and she's always clutching at her pearls, like almost a hint of a oh my to her,
almost a motherly
Catherine.
energy.
I don't know. I would say it's sort of this like admiration and like envy in like just she's completely like enraptured
from the get.
Yeah.
However they came together, however this came to be, but from the get. And so that's why, but she's very stern at the start because she's making her do all the work, all the heavy work, because was it
Molly?
Molly, thank you, Molly. Got the boot after thankfully years of service. On you go on your bike, and but it was too much work. Certainly the silverware, where she's not about this. She's that young kid who just wants to go out there and dance at the pub and party, and so she walks down the road. You're like, fuck you, I'm out. But you see Hester's obsession. Sorry, scream here.
Oh no, sorry. I was just going to point out the editing in that moment. I really loved. I feel like you really sort of started to see the clever use of editing, because there was this like very quick jump cut from her, Catherine, holding the spoon that she was meant to polish, and then it cuts to like nighttime. The spoon is like laying just like by itself on the table, and then we see that she has packed her things and she's left. And I thought that quick sort of storytelling was really interesting.
And the spoon's still covered in the silvo, like it hadn't even been wiped off.
It had not been polished.
There's little things I don't know about what it all means, but it happens with films like Mirrors and Reflections and shit, and there is stuff with the spoons at that moment there, and also with the lid of the silverware at one point, where she's and Kathy's looking at her reflection in the spoon. I don't know if it's a sequential shot, but it's in that beat of action. Yeah, absolutely.
I have a Letterboxd review that I wanted to share that someone said, but mind you, there are only 28 reviews on Letterboxd. I just want to reiterate that. This person said, my favorite part was when her funny looking reflection ruined the dramatic scene. Which obviously it doesn't ruin it entirely, but her face, like all of my housemates were laughing because you can see her face sort of like smushed together in like the side of the thing, which I don't necessarily think is a make or break. I think, it was very intentional, but I just wanted to point out that someone had left that as their review of this film.
That is funny though. That is funny. That's why I had that reaction. Definitely. So Kathy's bolted. And then you see more of Hester's desperation, coming along behind in the car saying, please come back. I'll bring back Molly to do all the heavy work. Hester says, no, I'll be okay. She's been very aloof at this point. Let's just say aloof, at this point. And walks in there and says, I'll be okay, and then gives her the peace sign, like she's in, the Breakfast Club or something. And But then you come back, and I think that's where she's looking at the reflection. I think, yes, Hester into the reflection of the lid because the silverware's not done. Yeah, so there's that little bit of despair, neglect. Yeah, there going
Yeah,
on.
and she's very forlorn. Like
Very full.
she is just sort of like
Hmm.
she's like grieving this loss almost. It's very intense, and she's sort of like, I guess she's despairing because she's sort of by herself again in this house.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's very sad.
You're asking of her, like, what happened to you also, in the past, and of Kathy to a degree as well. But speaking of the devil, yes, Kathy arrives behind. I was going to look at the reflection sort of thing, but it didn't do that. It avoided a lot of corny kind of, like, as people say, tropes nowadays. But no, she says, I'm back. And then Hester almost whelped. There was, that sound that, you know what I'm talking about? And it was like, oh, you're obsessed. You don't just like this girl. You're not just keen on the idea of doing work. No, you're obsessed. Yeah, for me at that moment is what I picked up with her character. And
but
and
is never going to do anything about it.
Hmm?
Is never going to take that next step into a physical relationship.
Very repressed. She is Hester is repressed incarnate.
Yeah. So a note at this point, I put
please.
jealousy. I put jealousy, repressed sexuality, and skin hunger.
Skin hunger. Can you elaborate on skin hunger a little bit? That's interesting.
So if you don't come into contact with people, like you don't hug people or touch people on a regular basis, you get a thing called skin hunger. It's like I need to touch someone.
Yes.
Touch starved.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Interesting. Yeah, I have here Hester is down bad. She's down bad.
She is sad as fuck.
I think there is almost like a voyeuristic element to the beginning of this film, especially the way that it's shot, I guess. And you sort of, again, you're still sort of in the dark about what their relationship really is, like what their intentions are. And there's this like this voyeuristic
what was the power dynamic that you brought up?
Yeah.
What was in your head? What did you read? Because you got repressed sexuality was the first thing that you mentioned there. So what was I got the mother-daughter thing, or the matron and the live-in student almost, sort of, Yeah.
Interesting. Because the whole film, whether it's not necessarily romantic, but probably romantic is what I got. Is she loves her.
Oh yes, I don't deny that. I don't deny the love. No.
I don't think it's I think there is a care and a sort of like mentorship there, but I don't think it personally, I don't think it is maternal at all.
Okay.
I don't think Hester knows how to be maternal
this is
at all. She wasn't raised with a mother. And I think that she sort of like, I don't know, I think she is, you said it when in the Wikipedia article it says she's attracted to her. I think that is true. I think she's absolutely attracted to her.
Because I put a question mark next to that. Yeah,
absolutely. No, so gay.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
In my opinion,
gay.
Yeah. It's this thing, and repression, I think, is a huge theme because she sort of. She wants to. She will do anything for her.
Yeah.
And I not to spoil, but not to jump the gun, but it's not just a sort of like this weird power dynamic, like mentorship, like
No.
ingenue and mentor. It is like
No.
she cares so deeply for her, and it is like this connection that she has been craving her whole life. And she sort of she says to Kathy, she says, you know, she used to have a nanny, or I don't know which word she used. Where is it? It's somewhere in here.
It was a flippin'
Governess.
governess.
Yes, a governess.
Yeah.
And she said that she had, like, you know, her governess took her to Europe for a year, and it was the best year of her life. And initially I was like, is she talking about being groomed? And I thought maybe that's where their relationship was leading. Obviously there is a large age gap. I thought there was like, that might be a sort of element, but it is absolutely not that. I think she's someone who is deeply craving connection and the care of another person. And that's why I think she would, like, everything falls, like she will do anything for Kathy. And we see that in, I guess, one of the next moments where she buys her that big boom box, like stereo, as a gift. And, you know, her joy at like receiving that is like enough to sort of sate her.
Funny moment in that scene I have to bring up, I made a note of, when they're playing hotter, colder, blindfolded. So she's got to search under the cushions in the lounge for the the present, and then the birthday cake with the candles, and she burns her arm. Plenty of time to be warned. Hey, watch out for the candles.
Yeah,
that's the fun of it.
Just being silly, but okay. But so, you know, since it did come up at the start, I do need to round it off with the question then. If it came to it, would Hester, but in the context of the film and the way that it works, would Hester, if it came to it, cross that line, I guess, so to speak, in terms of it becoming a physical thing between them?
I think she'd have to be impaired in some way, drunk or under the influence of some sort of external chemical I think, because she holds so much control over the way she is, I think there would have to be a relinquishment of control that was outside of her control before she crossed that barrier.
Okay.
In my opinion.
Yeah, cool.
I think if they were allowed to live this gorgeous little cottage life that they like sort of begin to live, you know, with their silk nighties and their, you know, she's letting her braid is like out at that point. I think if they were allowed to live in that like sort of isolation together, and maybe if Kathy had different motivations, we'll get into that later. I think given time, she absolutely would have gone there. I think she just needed to get away from her family home, and she needed to have security in that relationship. And I think that's something.
Yeah, there was an escape in each other. Definitely, there was. Self-evident. Yes,
and she starts to,
however you look at it,
as soon as her father dies, she starts to let herself sort of indulge and like become more like Kathy. You know, she's
the key.
Eating chocolate. Yes.
She gets the key off the father. That's a very important at this stage of the film. Yes, symbolically.
Yeah. Taking that control, I guess.
Homestead now, yes.
Yeah.
And all that implies.
She's eating chocolate. She's drinking. Like champagne.
At the birthday, the birthday's great with the
they're driving in the car with the loud music.
You're talking about them loosening up, like Hester loosening up, you know, vicariously with Kathy, and then you've got the two old dudes, Bird and father, eating cake and sculling scotch, being grumpy about all this noise and this young people spirited activity in the other room, which is because at the start there is that, you know, I guess, generational gap. Almost you could say,
Yeah.
it's shown,
There is,
yeah.
absolutely.
And there is that divide in the genders. You could say at this point as well is also shown.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, you can hear them
yeah.
sort of giggling in the other
Yeah.
room, which I thought was fun.
So that connection is strong. But why I thought it was based on a more kind of paternal, came from a more paternal angle, was the fact of the ellipsis of information, no information about either of their family backgrounds. They're talking about it's manipulative on Kathy's part when they're at the Rock talking about neither of us had a mother. And at the very, very end, when she's sitting in the Jeep, who's surrounded by, or looking up at her, and there's that smile again. It's possible it's not, and then but I'll get into what I thought about that later on. So I'm just saying that because that was my psychology, why I saw it as that type of relationship, and didn't click on to the gay as a pride flag. But I don't disagree. That's a very valid perception.
No, I think that I read that into a lot of things just as a queer person. I'm like, oh, this is queer.
I'm bringing my I got a lot of family stuff. I'm bringing my family stuff into it.
Absolutely.
This is what you do with films.
For sure. And I think that's the that's the beauty of it. And I guess of this film in particular is it is elusive. And, I was even talking to my partner, like when the film finished and they were like, that means this. And I was like, whoa, like I didn't read that at all. And it's just really fun to sort of hear other people's interpretations of it, I guess.
And which is what I like about this film, because it's simple enough. But what's the way to put it? What is a way to put it? Not well stated, but it's done so simply and effectively that you can read that it's open to interpretation, but not in a kooky, pretentious, wacky way. In a way that brings in subjectivity, I think, because it is an Australian Gothic thing, but it is a relationship between someone else being close to, and being isolated. And I think every Australian can relate to both of those things. Every human can, and every Australian can, which is what I like about this film, which I think it's big gold stars for me. And they've got, so where are we up to? They've got the boombox. Kathy's got the boombox and very happy, and the old grumpy men are not.
And her father is dead.
Yes.
Or just about to be.
Just about to be. Thank you, Scream Queen. And then Bird comes in all angry. You think he's going to go turn down that noise once all this rampant. But no. Dad's died. Oh, well, what a shame.
She does not seem cut up by that.
No.
Well,
it's because he's not the center
I wouldn't
of her
be
life.
either.
Kathy is.
Also, can we just talk about the toenail cutting?
Oh, can't forget
the
that.
Disgusting, revolting. My housemate was gagging. If this doesn't classify as a horror, that scene puts it in the horror genre for me. That was like, I would also not be sad if I had to cut a man. If someone whose toenails I cut, they died, I no longer have to cut their disgusting toenails. That's a huge relief.
That's entirely on him.
That's a huge weight off Hester's shoulders.
To get to that point. There's no need for them to ever get to that point. Just keep cutting your toenails just because you get a bit older. Oh, fuck, don't need to do that anymore. Yes, you do.
Horrific.
And don't ask anyone.
I just couldn't. I can't.
Partner to do it.
Or your daughter?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, it was off.
Like she was set free, if anything, when he died. I mean, the key, the handing over of the key.
The key is the most important part of that scene. Yes, Hester.
Symbology.
Yes. Hester gets the key.
And it is something that we know about from the very first scene of the movie. The keys.
Yeah. Why does Harry, the station agent, care so much?
I don't know.
He's
I guess they're friends.
Yeah, no, there's potential smittenness there from back in the day, maybe before the marriage. There is that point at their, where are they? They're at the bar and they're eating bar food. Yeah, and you're a very stubborn man. And there's that little smirk between them. So I don't know if that just suggested something in the past, or Hester like suddenly opened up, and I don't know. This is all wild fucking conjecture.
Well, because it's not explained.
It's not explained.
No.
Again.
But he does care.
Yeah. Which is what I like about this movie. Sorry.
He just knows the father very well, I think, is the only thing I can sort of glean from that.
Yeah, it wasn't family. Maybe it was best mates growing up or something like that.
Yeah. That's my guess.
Oh, we cannot forget this. We cannot forget this because what was the website you're a fan of? Is the dog dead?
Does the dog die.com? Yes.
Does the dog die? So does the dog die? Their scream queen, and the next moment, straight away after father's died, I think it's Molly. Yeah.
This is where the film lost me.
Oh, is this an issue there, Baron?
Yeah, killing the dogs, and the way they did it, the sound design, it just was so unnecessary. They could have let them go. We could have not even seen that scene. It was unnecessarily cruel.
We didn't see it because it was
but you hear the dogs yelp. You hear the dogs yelp.
And you hear, Hester's reaction, yes?
Yeah, Hester's blocking her
which
ears.
Which
is
is just another piece of the part of the breakdown. It's just another.
Like, whose decision was that?
Yeah.
Again,
that was Hester's decision.
Yeah,
was his
I know.
father's
100%.
favorite dog? Father's favorite dog? Yeah, that's
Do
what was my
you think
thought.
it is on Kathy's behalf, perhaps? That's like the only motivation. Like, that's what I feel is the only thing driving her at this point.
Yeah. There's
like
nothing leading up to it in the previous part of the film. Nothing leads up to that.
Yeah. Maybe something like the dogs bothering her maybe would have like justified it for me, but
could have been the dog attacked her when she was younger,
maybe.
and father didn't give a shit, and it's like, fuck, are you dead? That dog dies now.
Yeah. The only thing that makes sense for me is that every sacrifice Hester makes is at Kathy's benefit.
Oh, sacrifice. I like that.
That's what I think, because then we get onto the ownership of the homestead.
Yeah.
Which is like an even bigger example of that, I guess.
It is absolutely nice. Okay. Now, and talking about, Hester living her best life. She's in the car with Kathy and they overtake the ute, and it's just probably the wildest thing Hester's ever done. And there was a lot of hooping screaming and a hollering. And it's a very cool scene. These two have a great rapport with each other, just actors working together. Yeah, their dynamics great. Yeah.
And you sort of see Kathy as this almost like adrenaline junkie. Like she gets off on the fact that like it's so thrilling and it's like
forbidden.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Throwing it out there. Kathy. Oh no, I'll ask this question at the end.
Okay.
Yeah, about her psychology, but I don't want to give too much away though for now. Whilst we're reading the plot.
She sort of Hester starts buying. Oh, sorry.
No, I was going to say we're at about 20 minutes, 21 minutes into the film at this point with the dogs, and they're probably about 24 with the car. We don't see the well for another 15 minutes.
Yeah,
exactly. Because we have to watch
the titular well.
That's the word, isn't it? Yes, that is the correct word. I thought about that today. Is that the correct word? Yes, Hester, H&K are watching TV because I remember at the start when she was looking for the TV, there isn't one, and Hester said that very coldly.
Oh, they bought one. I didn't even notice that. I didn't clock it. I was like, everyone has a TV. Yeah. Okay,
well,
gotcha.
The ute is new. The TV is new. Like. Rich food, boots.
Yeah.
Boots. The boots are important. The boots are important. Yes, absolutely.
She's very chuffed about those boots. And Kathy is almost, I guess, like performing for
Thank you.
Hester.
Yes, go,
she's
go.
putting on
Yeah.
a little show and getting her, and Hester is sort of joining in on the impression she's loosening up. She's having more fun. It's silly, but it's also like you can see that she's a performer, which is interesting.
It is
And
interesting.
she's like, how many times have you seen that movie? And she's like, this is the first time. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, what's that about? That's all I'll say. What's that about? Yeah.
Very interesting. I'm pulling my
then,
monocle.
Yeah. Then we see some jealousy, what we were talking about before, some, almost psychotic jealousy, if I may say.
Opens her mail.
Yep.
Yeah.
Joanna, yes, best friend. And looks,
she misses you, but
old indie,
young.
chickie from the 90s, from 97, of that time, absolutely. Shout out to the production design. It did win, it did win an award at the Australian Film International, blah blah, whatever it's called, AFIN, for it, and it was good. It was good in moments like this because it was very of its time, and Hester doesn't like this whatsoever. Hester doesn't like this. And we see this as
threatened.
It's she's cracking more, she's teetering more,
Their relationship, I was the whole movie I spent trying to sort of make sense of the relationship that they had. One piece of media that it reminded me of was The Favourite. Yorgos Lanthimos. So it's like Olivia Colman, Rachel Weisz, Emma Stone. You should watch it. It's great. I would call it a thriller. Absolutely. But the relationship is very, very similar. You sort of have this young, exciting ingenue, if we're gonna keep using that word, and this, I guess, more conservative, repressed, easily exploitable, trusting character that this younger character sort of gets a lot of not status, but they have something to gain from this relationship, and I thought that those seemed very similar to me. I don't want to say too much because I don't want to give it away, but watch The Favourite. It's great.
And having something to gain is important to note at this point of time as well.
Absolutely.
This isn't all happy days. We've found who we were looking for. We don't want to throw out that impression. It is for Hester, but watching Hester go through it isn't a comfortable experience, though. Have these emotions isn't a comfortable view. No. Yeah. This isn't. Again, this is horror adjacent. It's next to the main horror section on the shelves in the video store. Now they're doing their picnic.
I think at that point as well, I think at that point when she's looking at the mail, I think she has a little bit of a fight with herself and says, I should chuck this out. And then she realizes that Kathy's looked at it and she would realize that it was gone. So I think there's a little moment where she's looking at it going, I should get rid of this, but I can't.
Yeah.
Is that why she creeps into her bedroom while she's sleeping and puts it back? Because that confused me why she would do that. Just leave it where you found it in the lounge room.
Yeah, I think that's why she did it.
Okay. I'll give them that. Yeah. Sorry, Scream Queen, you're going to say something?
What was I going to say?
It's all good. It'll come back.
Who's to say? Not me.
All good. Okay, so H&K are doing their little picnic at Hanging Rock. Kay talks about
blissful.
Kay talks about her dream at the Rocks, dream of like a happy family on a windy farm. A bit on the nose, but it's just like, well, now it's come true. Fuck, what a coincidence.
Yeah.
Isn't
that amazing?
On the second watch, you're watching these things going,
I need to watch it again, I think.
It's worth it, absolutely. But there's still moments where you go, oh, is she just bad shit? But this is how this movie plays with you. But we'll get into that as we go along. So the dream has come true. That there's Scream Queen.
Oh no.
Okay.
Jumping the gun. Go for
Talking
it. Go
about
for it.
them, they didn't have mothers growing up. Mentions the ex-governess, wanted to suggested going to Europe, which didn't happen. It didn't happen, did it? When she was young? No,
No.
no.
Oh
And then
no, they did go to Europe for
they
a
did.
year.
They did.
I think she
A
said
year.
she went
That's
with her
right.
governess for a
Happiest-
year to Europe. It was the happiest year of her life.
For life. Yeah. Okay.
Interestingly, away from her homestead.
There you go.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's bubbling under the surface. You know what I mean? All that kind of stuff with this film, I think. And yeah, suddenly gets all excited and says, "Hey, we should go to Europe to Kathy." And Kathy goes, "Absolutely, and let's throw in America. Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
let's go to New York. Yeah.
New York. It's not too expensive, is it? Don't mind." But then Mr. Bird, the accountant, family friend, possible, crush. What's the term for that? When a guy's got a crush. He's not a fuck boy. I'm not going to call him a fuck boy.
I don't.
I don't know.
Okay, I'll leave it. Scratch that. I'll edit this out. He comes along and says that someone wants to buy the farm. So there's a big spanner in the plot. There's a big this is a big turning point. This is a big thing that happens. And she says, "No, absolutely not. Give me money to go to Europe." And he looks at her going, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
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 Because what Hester and Kathy are doing is fun. I don't want to sound a stickler because I like spending money too, but it's like, okay, how are we going to make the money for it to come back in?
Yeah.
That's not really being thought about at this stage. It's all about Kathy,
and
he
says that to her as well.
Yeah. But I mean, like, they can't have been, even before he died, the father died, there can't have been that much farm work going on.
No. Like, was she doing it all? Like, I don't like.
Oh yeah.
Was it Molly? Like,
Molly was, mopping the
I mean, she
floors
seems
and that sort of
capable.
thing and shooting dogs. And
Yeah.
Now, shout out to the actor who played Molly. You did your best with the role.
Yeah.
Strange role to get.
Yeah.
She had those wellies on. She was rocking the wellies. She was.
Yeah. It was good.
Sorry, where are we up to? What we were saying?
The sale of the property we're up to.
Yes, so thank you. Sale of the property. Yeah.
She gets a migraine.
Yes.
Sort of like we learn that Hester gets these sort of violent migraines that come on, like incapacitating her.
Yeah.
Making her more vulnerable, if you will.
Yes. This is the first of her migraines.
Yes.
Throughout the film. This is the first showing of them. Okay. And then
so just a shout out to Katie Edwards, who played Molly.
You did a very good job. I think at one stage my partner said Molly's the only character I like.
Yeah.
And then she shot the dog. So
yeah.
You would do the okay.
Yeah, but not her choice.
Okay, so
no, I don't. She's just getting paid.
Yeah.
I hope a lot.
Yeah. I hope she got a payout when they sold the farm or something.
Yeah.
Like redundancy or something. Or maybe she's working for the Bourdains.
The new people, maybe. I wouldn't be surprised. They seem like reasonable people.
Seem like nice people.
They seem like nice enough people. Do you think it was nice that that Catherine was manipulating the sale with Bird back at the homestead whilst Hester was the names there. Whilst Hester was having the migraine.
Incapacitated.
No.
A little bit.
Nice.
So I was using that as a
honestly,
lame segue, but this is what happens next. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
think it was a little bit manipulative because it's not her property to sell.
On the first watch, I liked this about it because fuck this guy, go Hester and Catherine. This is a great team. I'm enjoying their reawakening. Their finding of each other. On the second watch, when you see that it's just pure manipulation, you're going,
and
it's very interesting in that way. Screen Queen.
Look, comparing it again to the favorite, and at this point in the film, I think the favorite was my point of reference for like what I thought this relationship was unfolding as. So I did see this as very, like, she had as much to gain from this sale as Hester did.
Yeah.
So she was sort of,
or more.
like, at one point he was like, "Can I hear that from the horse's mouth?" And she said, that was verbatim. That was word for word.
Yeah.
And I was like, she's literally, she's like on her bed, she can't even stand up. Like, what do you mean word for word?
Yeah. I did enjoy her. I did enjoy her. Of course, I haven't got a ass over tit. Her impression of the guy.
Yeah.
It was good at that point. Baron.
That was a different Kathy.
Yes.
Yeah,
that was a different Kathy. She was a different person when she was talking to him in that scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot more lucid, a lot more calculating in the eyes. There was less of the girly, innocent kind of look at my crazy hair, head bob thing. Yeah.
Yeah, the way that she was, even the way that she was talking to Hester, like sort of whispering to her and being all like, "Ooh," like she knew exactly what she was doing.
This is it is subtle. I mean, the performance is strange, but there is a play between, is she manipulating or is she mentally ill? Yeah, just to basically throw it out there. Yeah, that is
like,
the question.
is she just sort of this spacey?
Yes, certainly as we go on with the well. Yeah, certainly when we get up to the well. We're not there yet, though. We're almost
We're
there.
not at the well yet. You'd think.
We're near the well. We're at the first night at the cottage. The well is outside.
They get to the cottage.
Yeah.
There's this beautiful moment with the music. Sorry to but the whole movie is reminding us how different these two characters are. And there's a beautiful moment in the sound design where Hester is listening. They're both setting up their new rooms. Hester's listening to classical music, and over the top of that, you have like the 90s sort of punk. Like, they are literally playing simultaneously. And it's just sort of this clashing of music. I thought that was so. I just love that. I just thought that was so clever.
Absolutely, and I think and to Pigeon-tail, to add to that, to build on that, the film builds on that as well. When outside, when we first see the well, they're both standing at the door. There's the storm at this point. It's raining quite heavily. Far North Queensland, New South Wales heavy, Australia heavy, and Catherine hears she hears humming, and then something strange moving in the woods, and then Hester says, it's just the storm, and that's just the top of the lid of the well. So whether what if the intent behind Catherine's words are, it still shows that they still live in different worlds. Definitely. And then we get a kind of soft, evil, dead Dolly, shot up to the well and to the top of the well. And for me, I reckon that was the first hint, the first time the film hints at the well having a supernatural aura about it. Nothing, no law or anything, no connotation, just an aura to it. And that builds on that as we go on, I think, which I really like.
Anyone that's interested, Cooma is sort of in between Canberra and Jindabyne.
Thank you.
So it would be quite cold there as well.
It did look very, I mean, there was probably the blue filter, but it did look very wet and cold.
Yeah.
Well, the next morning it's not wet and cold. The storm has passed. They're taking tea, in fact, on top of the well. It's very delightful. And then Bird shows up with the loot, as Hester calls it. And
why is that money not in a bank? Why is it not in a bank?
He has it handcuffed.
I know. So talking about, Australian Gothic, or just quaint rural Australia. Back in the day there, it's just, it was quite hilarious. And Hester finds it hilarious and jibes him for it. Then they take the cash. She takes the cash, they take it aside, and they start putting it in the biscuit tins and such. And then on the second watch, I've noticed that Catherine puts it in the yellow hat, her yellow hat that she
from
likes.
The photo.
Yeah.
Right? From the photo with the governess. I don't.
Yeah.
So
I didn't pick up on that. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure she's wearing a yellow dress and a yellow hat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Just saying. I don't know like what that is trying to say necessarily, but
And if you
I
look
like
behind
it.
me, viewers, there's yeah, in the doorway, the yellow dress and hat. She put some money into the yellow hat. Yeah, and there was a whole point made of that, yeah, action, yeah, of filming that action. And on the second time through, I went, okay. Certainly we get later on to the thievery, yeah. Hmm?
Yeah, I again that like voyeuristic sort of like element of the shot. You have like this like very close up long shot of her like on her tippy toes, like reaching up to pop the. I thought that was I liked that shot. I thought it was cool.
Yeah, the shoes were interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't know what they meant. Don't know if they meant anything. That was just interesting. Yeah, so Bird rides for the loot, puts in the tins. Yeah, there's the thing. The mail, yes, okay, so they're outside the post office. They've gone to get the mail.
Australia Post.
Oh, the dance to the nightgowns, yes, the white nightgowns with the red scarf, very stylistic, lovely little fun scene there. Australia Post. And then it's from Joanna. It's just got out of juvie on remand.
Yeah.
She was on remand, but she's got out for good behavior. Hester really doesn't like this, to the point that she stops the vehicle, goes behind a rock again, and then she teeters on a breakdown on screaming at this point.
Yeah. It is so that is probably one of my favorite scenes of the movie. Like it's so beautiful. And initially we were all like, oh, why is she going so far out on the road to pee?
Because
it turns out
that's pretends to
not
pee.
what she
That's
wanted to do.
Yeah.
And then I it's one of the first scenes where like I think you really start to gain an understanding of like her relationship with Kathy, and like she doesn't want this bliss, the singing and playing piano and their like silk nighties in their cottage together. She doesn't want that compromised in any way.
Definitely. It's a little
heartbreaking.
Yeah, it's a little heavenly. I used to call this the heavenly creatures syndrome. If you've seen the Peter Jackson film Heavenly Creatures, you see the extent of her obsession. You definitely, if you haven't got cottoned on by now, you definitely get the picture at this point. The cinematography is great. The blue filters dropped. It's in the middle of the day. She's leaning up against the rock. Rock's much taller than her. Then you just see the expanse of the paddocks, the flat land around her. That sense of isolation. Done really well. And then they go back and they're preparing, because Joanna can go to the to prepare for the dance. Kathy's going to go to a dance, and there's the yellow dress again.
Catherine, no, Hester makes it for her.
Did she make it? I thought she bought it.
Yes,
I think she
tailored
adapts
it.
I think she adapts hers.
Oh,
yes, you're right. She tailors it specifically for Kathy to wear.
Yeah.
And Kathy spills something.
The initial reaction was great. Yeah, it wasn't quite. Didn't give away too much away. To Hester's character, wouldn't have known that. No, this is not what I want at all. But the viewers and the spectator, you go, oh no, you don't like that at all. Carrying it away like it was some sort of dead body.
It's very. And then. I mean, it's an ugly dress. It's no doubt about it.
It wasn't good. No,
but she's like, oh no, I just spilled this stuff on it, and you're like, okay.
What did you reckon about
Kathy.
this? I mean, it was obvious, yeah. I mean, you suddenly went in and needed to have a large mug of coffee as well.
Very intentional, because then you see her in her metallic ensemble, and you're like, you're like, of course she did that on purpose. She was never wearing that dress. And that very clearly, again, you're starting to get a clearer image of their relationship. This very heartbreaking dynamic that they seem to have. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And this is commented, the relationship in general is commented on, that it's a bit strange, is commented by there's the new owners of the homestead who
Yep.
Hester
The
and Kathy
Bourdains.
meet at the pub for the band, the dance, the Bourdains. And Kathy goes to dance, and then Mrs. Bourdain says to Hester, you should let her out more. She's not, you shouldn't trap her in. She's not trapped in. And she says, not everyone wants to be single.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if that's
It's
not
like
queer,
nail on the head.
if that's not the queer sort of like repressed
Okay.
overtones, if
Yeah.
you will,
Yeah.
I don't know what is.
Yeah.
Because she's sort of this spinster, I
Yeah,
guess.
she is. Oh, yeah, she's totally repressed. It has been for a long
absolutely.
time.
Yeah. And yeah, just I thought that was very, very interesting. And as also a very important element of this is Hester is disabled. She needs
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
got a
thank
like
you.
she walks with a limp.
Yeah.
And she's got a
and
built-up
I think
shoe.
and yeah, and I think she has like a cane sometimes. I'm not quite sure, but yeah, and again that sort of isolates her even more.
Yeah. Makes her more vulnerable. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely. And then we get back to the beginning. Yes, this is how it works there, folks. We come back to the accident on the road. Miranda drives home, is very excitable and giddy about dancing at the club, the friends coming to stay on top of the world, swerves, and And at first, I wasn't sure what it was that she actually hit. You and the people on the screen quickly assume it's a man, but no one's sure. Yeah, and they check to see, and no, it's not a roo.
No, it's not a roo.
Not a roo this time. No, this is where this film takes its dark turn. Yeah, this is where the worm turns. Yeah. Miranda has committed, I think it's vehicular manslaughter. Is the legal terminology. Yeah. She doesn't have a license.
No.
Not that really matters.
She barely knows how to drive the automatic.
Shouldn't have happened. Shouldn't have happened to start with. No,
but Hester gives her whatever she wants.
Yes, worshipping on the cult of Kathy again. Yes, at the altar of Kathy.
Yes.
And then so there's panic galore, of course, great reactions, great acting.
Amazing. Kathy is like, she can't do anything. She can't help Hester. She's completely frozen.
Yeah, this is where you start
grief,
at this point.
guilt.
You can start to see Miranda Otto's skill, in my opinion. Yeah, where this goes, where her character turns. And then Kathy slowly, once they get back to the homestead, I found it interesting that Kathy slowly drove the 4-wheel drive up to the well, while Hester, walked alongside. I just found that a little touch.
And this man is literally just stuck. To the bar of the car.
I know, it's fucked up. Yeah, good point. Again, it's adjacent to the horror movies. And then he's put in the well. Pure and simple.
Why? Who's to say?
It was judged to be the best thing to do at the moment for these people. Scenario.
And it's the thing of. Oh, sorry.
There's a lot better places to bury that body.
Exactly. The well is like one of the first places. You're in the middle of nowhere. I feel like the first place people would look is the well. So, but again, like panic. Hester doesn't have a lot of help from Kathy, and Hester does it because she thinks that Kathy doesn't want to get caught.
Okay. I'm fine with that. I think that's correct.
She later gets blamed for, which, jumping the gun again, but a very interesting thing that happens.
So
the man's in the well, the dead man.
The dead man is in the well. Where should we go to? Yeah, okay. So yeah, the next morning, Yellow. Oh, so I wanted to the well is I wanted to mention this. The well is hinted at having a supernatural aura again, and approaching and the framing, the lighting when the car comes up to the well. There's kind of this green, I don't know if it's mold, but it has this green hue to it in the light, in the mortar, gave it the supernatural aura to me, because there's also things they do with sound in this film. When you the camera looks on straight bird's eye view down on top of the well, then you hear a man's breathing at one point, and at this point, before this whole scene ends, there is goes down to the well and you hear strange sounds, the kind of metallic sounds. Then you hear a man's voice. You do hear
you have
a
a lot of those like metallic.
Yes, but then there is a man's
sounds.
voice at the very, very end of it. Well, you're made to think it's a man's voice. So I was listening on the headphones, but yeah. There's a whole lot of sound shit that plays with you, actually, with your perception of what's going on, what's actually real or not. Which is really cool. Which is very cool.
And I think the night that happens, she keeps talking about like there's someone in the roof, or there's someone that has broken in. Like that is what she keeps saying. And then Hester, pragmatic as always, is no, it's you're just not thinking straight or whatever.
Showing that difference between them. Yes, that distinct, succinct.
It's just the wind.
Psychological difference. Next morning, the yellow hat, which is the first shot, and the next morning is empty. Again, very pointed. In terms of how the plot unravels in terms of the visual language, and also all the money from the cake tins has gone as well. And they both have automatically pretty much just in this little kind of what's the word, conspiracy with each other, that it was the dude down the well. He's responsible. Pretty damn quickly.
So now we're going to go down there and get the money.
It's a very long well. You hit him with a 4-wheel drive. Okay.
The owner of the property comes up and says, "Oh, we've had a robbery at the homestead."
Yes.
So have you guys seen anything? And Hester goes, no, nothing at all.
In a completely believable manner.
Oh yeah, she's terrible. She's a terrible liar. She's never had to lie in her life. Again, but just another thing she's doing for Kathy. I hate to say
absolutely.
it, but,
and it also adds to the complexity of the mystery. It makes you question yourself, or maybe if this guy was thieving, that was he who they hit, and now he did get out and steal the money. Then it just adds that little seed.
And where
of
is
doubt.
the money?
Yeah. Baron, you're going to say something?
I was just going to say, knowing how the movie ends, do you think the person that actually stole the money did the other crime?
Yes.
For highly possible.
Okay.
Yes, I'll say. Good point, though. Good observation. Yep, they're both playing well, dude. Okay, so after, and this is once I think she's going to get a new rope in town, Hester. She comes back, and she's heard about the
they're going to lower Kathy into the well to retrieve the money from this dead body.
So it's all very well thought out. This plan.
They're panicking. They're flailing.
Yeah, they are absolutely.
Yeah.
But the panic, well, it turns from panic just to plain weirdness, because Hester gets home and Kathy's lying next to the well. Yeah, like that.
Yeah.
Bathing
and the
in
kitchen
the
is covered in food. The kitchen is decimated. Someone's gone to town.
And this is after Kathy is talking to Hester, saying that been talking to the dude down the well. They've got along really well. I think she proclaims their love for each other. At that point. And Hester's like, okay, what
and
the
Hester
fuck's
laughs.
happening? Hester's like, I'm a bit unhinged, but what? At pretty much at this stage. And then they go inside, and then there's all the, the neglect. Yeah. Very symbolic kind of mess
and she
going on
says,
there.
Kathy says he's starving.
Yeah.
He's starving down there.
Yeah. Because she starts feeding him. Yes. And this is basically the this is sort of what this is there's two major battles, one between the Well and the Man. Is the Well and the Man actually alive or not? And the battle for the keys. The battle for the keys comes soon out, not long after this. But this is definitely
because she's trying to get the rope.
Mm-hmm.
She wants to get the rope from the car, so she can go down there and be with him and save him.
Yeah, she's feeding him food when they're out of money of this cottage. No money's coming in. All the money's been stolen. She's feeding him big like lunch bags, like
lowering little baskets of food.
Yeah. Talking to him the whole time,
like lamb, and
and then and watching it on the second time, Kathy's pleasuring herself to the thought of the man down the well. But she was doing it in the bedroom. Why is she doing it in the bedroom? Is it because she want to be loud enough so Hester can hear? Yeah, if you know what I mean. If she is manipulating, that again questioning mental illness or manipulation.
Yeah, at this point I was like, oh, is this like a metaphor for guilt? She's being driven mad by guilt. Is what I was thinking. I was like, she's so sort of like her mind can't comprehend she's killed this man. So she has like invented this sort of like delusion to make herself feel better that this man is alive and she can save him still. Is where my head was at.
No, I feel that.
And then you're like, is Hester like stopping this guy from like being saved, and like what is going on? Is it real? Is he alive? Is he not alive? Like
absolutely. The manipulation
and Hester's doubting it.
Absolutely. But because Kathy's doing, let's just saying, she's really either convinced or doing a really good job at this stage. Certainly when she goes on to the underground utopia that he's discovered down there.
The tunnels.
And then also so happy that she did not kill him as well. And that this is what is their impetus and motivation to get him out of the well as well. It's very confusing and very unnerving. Performed superbly by both actors at this point. She loves the well man, blah blah blah. The blank, and also you remember the metaphor about the blanket being wrapped inside you, talking about well man as well.
He wants to be wrapped inside of her.
That broke Hester, because then the opera started and the migraines began, which is a little kind of motif of this movie. And and then the incapacitates Hester. And then this is where the battle for the keys begins. To get the man out of the well, or do you think is to get the hell out of Dodge? It could be either at this. You know what I mean?
I don't
at this point in time.
50-50.
It's all folding it on itself at this point. Kathy continues to feed the man down the well whilst trying to get keys to rescue the man down from the well. So it seems the oysters for the man down the well, ridiculous suggestion, but there's the $100. Can't forget about the $100. What did you guys reckon about this when it came up?
That's when I started to have thoughts about who actually got the who actually had the money. Like, it's like, oh, that's just way too convenient, because there's no way that guy was still alive.
This is a Darth breaker. Scream Queen.
I guess as confused as Hester was. I was not sure. I was like, maybe she went down there and maybe she is just like insane. Like maybe she has been
Mhm.
down the well.
Mhm.
Um, at this point, I was like, I just
Yeah.
really thought that she had gone mad.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I can see that.
Yeah. Okay, moving on. We're braiding Hester's hair. Kathy is braiding Hester's hair. I love their braiding of hair in this movie. So yeah, done really well.
Gay. It's gay.
And this is where we see the first kind of threatening side of Kathy towards Hester.
Yeah.
Definitely pulls their hair.
The power dynamic shifts.
Yeah. The status, even visually in the chair up above from behind, pulling the braid, the man in the well says that I need to get the keys and that's no matter what, basically, don't fuck with me. Yeah. And again, and the blue lighting in the cabin really worked at this point really well. It was very effective. Now, are we up to the kitchen scene? Because the kitchen scene is incredible.
Yes.
We are up to there, aren't we? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. The kitchen
Loved
scene for
it.
me was the best scene of the movie. Yeah. This confrontation within the kitchen. Scream Queen, what did you think? Why did you love it?
Oh, I mean, it's where the sort of like the gothic elements like all really like come together, and it's really eerie, and it is really surprising. I mean, I'm talking specifically about Hester's dream. Is it a dream? Who knows? But her hair, she's been tied.
Yeah.
She's been tied to the chair by her braid.
Yeah.
By Kathy, and Kathy is, the keys are gone, and Kathy is at the door with the yellow dress and the beanie, and she's like, it's this sort of ridiculous, confusing.
I've got that sequence down here, Scream Queen, how it plays out, the stream scene, because it is absolutely because that happens, if I'm not mistaken, just after this confrontation scene in the kitchen.
Yeah.
There was just with the confrontation scene, there were a few lines I wanted to pull out. I don't want to go too much into it because I want people to watch it, because it is a masterclass in acting as well, and it's just really very enjoyable to watch. So I just want for it to be as fresh as possible. But there were a few lines. There was the all I care. All you care about is the money. Yes, of course I do. So do you. No, all I care about is you. Yeah, that's nice little switcheroo interaction there. More than anything, I hate your fucking music, when she was playing the German classical music and slams down her tape player. And the best one is at the very end, where the fight's over, it's exhausted itself. Kathy's had enough, sits down, puts her hand in her head, and then Hester goes to touch her on the arm. And then I'll say it, Miranda Otto says, "Fuck off." Because I saw in that moment the Miranda Otto that we saw playing the mum and Talk to Me, it had that level and power of authority to it, and don't fuck with me to it. And that was just a great little
That was more that was more like the Kathy we see negotiating with the station agent.
Yes.
Yeah. Totally. Yes. Good point. And then there was this dream sequence, which I thought was fantastic, because when the first dream wake up happened, I thought, it was just a dream, annoying. But no, again, not playing on cliches here. Inverting expectations, doing things new, doing things differently. There was the spooky male breathing that she heard, which went down to the
she starts,
and then the well cover sounds. And then then she was staring at the well out the window. Then she starts touching her lip in almost, I won't say sexual, let's say sensual fashion. But a very extreme close up, a weird angle from underneath, so you can see top teeth touching a lip. Very gothic horror, very very strange gothic horror moment, because here was the rain, the shadows, and storms. Oh yeah, and then Hester hearing Kathy say Hester from behind, and then waking up in the chair. There's the no keys. There's the braid, and it's braided all the way down to the floor. It's 2, maybe 3 times the length that it was, and she goes to reach for the keys and goes to stand up and can't because it's stapled. Like with industrial staples onto the ground, absolutely cannot stand up or she'll rip, she'll scalp herself. And then we see Kathy at the door, opens up, storm, very dramatic lightning, thunder with the yellow dress and hat. And and then that was the dream sequence, then it finishes there. I really liked it. That was my favorite moments of the film, was that kitchen confrontation followed by that dream sequence. Was really good. And for a first film,
it was great.
Yeah, to handle, basically, realism in terms of like, it was like almost like you could put that on stage, that kitchen scene.
Yeah.
Put it in a realist scene.
It was very theatrical.
Yeah, and then going into an impressionist, / surreal, sequence here in this dream scene and pulling off a very effective dream sequence, because it's really easy to make dream sequences look cheesy. Yeah. And indulgent. Yeah. Next morning, the rain has stopped, but the well is full. It is full of water, and it is full of our man in the well, who Hester sees as starting to bob up there like a little apple at Halloween, and starts to push it down with a stick. He's definitely dead. Definitely dead.
He is dead. But in the dream, you sort of see her doubting that.
And
that's sort of what that is.
Scream Queen. Then I asked you just after, and you, Baron, pushing down the stick, pushing down the corpse, and you see the hand floating down, sinking down again. Yeah. But then Hester goes, "Oh, hang on. I'll get some help. I'll get something or whatever it is." Like suddenly she thinks he's alive in that moment. What did you think of that?
Because go.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, like, I think like Kathy, whether it's madness or manipulation, we know which one it is. Has instilled enough doubt in Hester that she genuinely believes that she is to blame, and that she is stopping this man from being rescued. I think that is the power that Kathy has. Yeah, and and because of her dream as well, she doesn't know what's real. She doesn't know. I think at the start of the dream,
psychosis.
She has the fire poker. She pokes the fire, and she sort of, and then when she wakes up, the fire has been put out. So there's this sort of thing is like, did that dream really happen?
Good observation. Didn't pick
up
on that.
Was that
okay?
And so I think that she thinks that he's alive, and Kathy is right.
Okay.
And Kathy is completely, sane, and like Kathy is convinced her of that.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Yeah. Baron, do you have anything else on top of that?
Sorry.
No, that was actually nicely shot with the practical effect of the body, making it look like it was moving. I really enjoyed that. Yeah.
And she goes to get more rope. Yeah. To try and still on that. Yeah. He's going inside. Local men arrive. And they help to seal up the well. She takes advantage of the opportunity. Kathy is asleep. Kathy wakes up because it's a noisy process to seal up a well. I love the way that, I love the way that Kathy woke up. The way this was filmed. Yeah, there was the tilting, the consciousness, and not quite sure. It was all beautifully done. And Kathy's not happy. Kathy doesn't lose her shit completely, though, but call me out if I'm missing anything at this stage. And Kathy basically starts packing her bags and starts to leave. Hester tries to talk her out of it to start. What about Europe?
She pulls on the
at the door, starts to physically do it, so it starts to get desperate. And then you see the real Kathy, I would say here, Baron, at the end. It's like, no, you'll be fine.
We're done.
Going. Yeah, we're done.
Yeah.
And that was that. Then she's at picnic at Hanging Rock again. She's at Hanging Rock again, and she's dressed in new clothing, and she takes a moment in her hands, where she's kind of deep breathing, like it's a little bit of a kind of restabilizing moment, which she does, and then you see that she has the cash in her suitcase.
Yep.
And
huge
she's
reveal.
Yeah. Hitchhiking down.
So spoilers.
Did either of you get it on your first watch that she had stolen it?
No.
I didn't. No. Okay, that's cool.
I
Which
was
is a testimony.
shocked. I was very
which
surprised.
is a testimony to this movie to pull off a crime twist at the end as well.
I really thought she's running off because she thinks Hester's a murderer.
Yeah.
I thought she was leaving because she was still in love with the man in the well.
Oh yeah. Well, that sort
too.
of those elements. She's in love with him. She's
No. I was saying, but that too. Like the she was in love with the guy in the well. Hester had sealed up the well. They can't be together. I'm leaving. And then the money is like, oh shit. Yeah.
She took it all along. Like
Yeah.
It's
now there's the question of intention to Kathy, because this question's popped up about mental illness or manipulation. She's walking down the road, she catches a ride with a lovely caring lady saying, a lovely young girl like you shouldn't be out in the street in the roads by yourself. And then automatically there's the sick mother in hospital comes straight out, and she gets that far away look in her eye and that lilt in her voice as well. But I do think this question there is an ambiguity. There is a that does ask the question throughout, and keeps asking it at the end. Now, me with the end, if I may, for a moment, because when I saw this end, I was like, so she's just going to go away and manipulate someone else. I'm not quite happy with this end, considering what I was just given leading up to this. But then you see Hester walking along the road, lost, going nowhere, not hitching. She's picked up by the lovely Mrs. Bodern. And with her 15 children, however much there were, in the Jeep.
30 kids in the car.
73 children.
Gets in the vehicle, and now this is just a theory. I'm just throwing it out there, but it's just analysis, observation. Drives away, and then and all the children are looking up at her. And she's got that lost look in her eye to start with, but then she sees the children looking at her, and then then there's this warmth comes back to her, and then she starts to smile. Warmth comes back to her eyes. She comes back to consciousness, if you will, back to herself. And then she starts to smile because there's the children. And that's what I was talking about, the family thing, the matronly, motherly thing with Kathy. And then she goes, yes, now I can perhaps be a governess. I can help look after these children. I can have someone to care / obsess over. And I think that kind of balanced, that balance, what just happened before with Kathy in the car, going away to manipulate someone else, or she herself just needs someone, and this is how she does it. If that makes sense. And I was happy with that. I was really glad that it posed that question, that it gave you that duplicitous ending, and not just and now I go, that was my dastardly plan, was successful, now I'm going away, all along. You know what I mean?
I think I saw the final scene a little bit differently.
Please.
Again, it can be interpreted in so many different ways. I have sort of two ways that I see it is that, like, what Hester needs more than anything is compassion and, like, to be looked after. And here comes this, like, hugely maternal figure with all of her kids, and she picks her up and she's listening to the music that Hester loves in the car. I thought that was very significant, is that music was playing, the music that Kathy hated.
That's true. Yeah. That's true.
That kind of said to me that she would move on to being mothered by a mother.
Yeah, exactly. Like she's going to be taken care of by, like she's finally going to be taken care of. And
I like that. I like that as well. Yeah.
But then, you know, there's also this side, if you looking at it as this like repressed queer character, you know, she's sacrificed everything for this lifestyle that is very much against the domestic grain, if you will.
Especially in country Australia.
Yeah, and she has, in some way, she's lost everything for it, and like here she is confronted with like the very opposite to the lifestyle that she so desperately like craves, and she's you know, I feel like the children staring at her as like the idea of her having children is like very alien, I guess. So I thought that was a very it's very interesting, it's very open-ended. I have this really good quote from the director, actually.
Please.
Which I think it helped me understand like the relationship between the characters a little bit more. She said, "I was interested in the way that here were two people who connect desperately for love, but when they get it, it corrupts them. I liked that idea. We want something, and then we get it, and then we're corrupted by it. And I wanted to play with that and what basically motivates Hester to commit murder and what it is to have this relationship with this girl to the exclusion of all others." I thought that was really good. Like, obviously she hits the nail on the head. It's her, you know, her whole vision. But like, I think that's so beautifully sums it up. It's a story about connection and failed and corruption of connection.
Yeah. I reckon we should, sum up, going over the movie with that. Yeah, I think that's the perfect way to,
100%
tie a bow on it, definitely. I thought it was, I really liked this movie. I'm really glad I saw it. I'm glad I gave it the rewatch, went back to the cinema 20 years later. And hey, the popcorn still tasted good. Hey, it almost tasted like the 90s little sense of home. So I'm going to give it, now with the rating, now it was between delicious and evil. So it's a 4.5. It's between delicious and evil. Yeah, out of 5. Do you need me to bring up the ratings there, people?
Please.
Yeah, give me a sec. I've got them right here. I'll just run through them again there for our new listeners and whatnot as well. 1 is burnt. 2 is flopcorn. That is the popcorn that does not pop and remains in the bowl/bag. 3 is satisfying. Yep. You know, that will do. So 1 is a bad movie. Yep, this was absolute crap. 2 was, that was okay for a watch, you know, in the background, whatever. 3 was like, no, actually, that was good. Though, you know, check it out. 4 was like, that was really cool. Liked it a lot. Yeah, probably will watch that again. And 5 was like, I'll be talking about this for years to come. So 4.5. Scream Queen.
Okay.
I think I would give this a 4.
Okay,
I think it's
cool.
Delicious.
Nice.
I saw someone describe it as tasty. And I would agree. I think it's so layered, and you know, the more I think about it, the more I like it, and I really want to do a second rewatch now that we've talked about it, because you know, the ending, and I just thought it was beautiful. And I have this, I mentioned it a little bit before, but I have a few words from Letterboxd that I think sum it up well. Someone said that sometimes you watch a film and you can tell a man had no hand in making it, and I think that's beautiful. And I think that this is one of those films. It's so obviously female-led, and this final line here is, "Hester is relatable as fuck. I too would fall in love with Miranda Otto, sell my home and all of my possessions, and do everything within my power to run away to Europe with her."
Yep. In 1997 and 2023, I agree.
And 23, exactly.
2023. Sorry.
I thought this film was beautiful. Yeah, absolutely a 4. You know, it could even get higher. I really liked it. Yeah.
Great to hear. Baron?
Okay.
What do you reckon?
Okay. So I had two problems with this movie.
Please. Okay.
Number one was
Issues,
the
yes.
overly unnecessary killing of the dogs, which took me out of the film for a good
Yeah.
15 or 20 minutes.
Okay.
Up until pretty much the well appeared. And the second one was from a performer's perspective. There are a number of shots in this film that linger way too long, and I could see the performers going, "Just say cut, just say cut, just
Okay.
are you going to say cut? Are you going to say cut?" So I think there was some overindulgent shots.
Okay.
It was still a beautiful film. It's a piece of art, but I can't give it more than a 2 because of the dogs.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I
Rough,
can't give it higher
it's
than
a
a flop corn.
corn.
Yeah, I
It's
can't.
a flop
Sorry.
corn. Okay. That's
There
our first
were
flop corn.
there were so many other ways to deal with the dogs.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Yes,
All right.
I mean,
That's
it's
no, please. That's valid. That's your feeling. Everyone has a line. I have lines in horror. Absolutely.
It's entirely possible that was a scene lifted directly from the book. I don't know. I've not read the book.
Yeah. Point.
I would be
Yeah.
interested. I know that the ending is supposedly very different in the film than it is in the book, so which is interesting.
Interesting. Perhaps we'll look at that in
But
the future.
I would still eat it. I've eaten that popcorn now twice. I don't regret watching it, but it's not something I think I'm going to revisit anytime soon.
Okay. No, very valid criticisms. Very valid criticisms. Absolutely. Well, what do you have for us next then?
Okay, so I'm going to do something a little bit self-indulgent.
Please.
There's an Australian dark comedy / horror film called Red Curtain Hell, and I was in it.
Okay, cool, excellent. No, I'm down with that 100%.
Yeah. Now it's available
How do
on
we
Vimeo.
get it? Okay.
It is a rental on Vimeo, but I believe I've got a code that I can get you for that. So yeah, but everyone else who's watching this, pay the rental. In fact, no, don't pay the rental.
Okay.
Buy the damn thing. It's $11.99 to buy it. That you can download it anytime or stream it, or rent it for $4.99 and you get 48 hours streaming period. You also get blooper reels behind the curtain and the making of the film and a director's commentary.
Nice. Does this mean we have to give it 5 stars?
No. Look, I would not expect that of anyone. You may not like it. That's fine. Everyone has a different opinion.
Of course.
No, I'm excited. That's great.
Absolutely. Yeah, good suggestion.
So
suggestion.
It was filmed at the Beanley Community Theatre.
Wow.
A cultural relic of.
Okay, we'll have to promote this one locally a bit then. Yes.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Now,
we all know people who want to see that. Yeah.
I am still in contact with a bunch of the actors and the director. I might see if someone wants to maybe join us for the cool. podcast if you're keen for that.
Great.
Yeah, make something a bit extra out of it. I'm definitely keen on that. Cool. And what else do you have going on?
Sizzle.
What else do you have going on, Baron? I know you're busy at the moment. Shows coming up.
Well, we've just done Supernova where I emceed, and starting this weekend, which is the 17th, we've got Speed the Movie, the play at the Wynnum Fringe, which is Speed done in 40 minutes on a bus, and it's interactive. And we're doing our 200th show, a 200th version of that show on this weekend.
Whoa.
Well done. Yeah, that's clap for that. Yeah, that's a very good effort. Definitely. Project going well, Scream Queen, writing away?
Yes, so I've just submitted my second draft of my play.
Okay, cool.
Very exciting. I had a little reading with a few friends to sort of get feedback, which felt very real and scary and vulnerable, but it was really great. It's people are clever and they have clever ideas. And I think it's fun. Cool. I'm also, something very important in my life is I'm crocheting.
Oh, okay.
Okay, fantastic.
This will be a shirt eventually, but that's what I want to plug is my crochet project right now.
Could you do our logo?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That'd be great.
Are you going to sell it on Etsy?
No, I'm very beginner. This is like the first thing I've made beyond a granny square. So
okay. Well, good luck.
Nice work.
Thank you.
And I will do the shout outs, first of all, to the Evil Corp. Yes, thank you, Kate. Thank you, Jay. We will be back filming for the next one, Red Curtain Hell. Yes, stay tuned. To all of the socials to keep up with everything, and that is the Facebook, the Instagram, the YouTube. And yeah, I'm not going to beg or anything gross like that, but we do need some more subscribers, you know. If you do have a YouTube account, even if you don't watch anything, if don't watch us at all, let's press the subscribe button, press all the buttons on all the socials, sort of thing. Even if you're not into podcasts, it just helps us spread it out there. And if you are, absolutely tell your friends. And thank you very much for those who have subscribed and followed us on the socials thus far. Yeah, we've got Red Curtain Hell coming up, and I'll throw a plug out there. I do have one. First of all, just to help promote our friend's movie, Last of the Pretty Boys, played at the what is it called in New Brighton, the New Farm Cinema. This weekend, finally finishes the local feature film project, and I'm going to be his name's Dustin Schmidt, shout out, going to be doing a slasher film with him called Babyface, and I will be playing the Babyface slasher. Yes, dreams do come true. And yeah. And we're going to be starting that one before Christmas. Yeah, so it will be good to do some acting again, certainly to play, you know, a slasher killer with a cool mask. I mean, come on now. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I do have one other thing. This is not for me. We were contacted on the socials by Diana Engelhardt, who has a community called the Be Critical International Film Review Community. We've signed up for their Facebook page. So it is a movie review and discussion group on Facebook. They're happy for us to share our content there. They've got a fair amount of consumers and contributors there, and they always welcome more, and they give us all the best in our creative endeavors.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for that.
That's
Absolutely. I might put up a post about this as well, like Australian horror films you'd like us to cover while we're still doing this series.
Oh, yeah,
that we can
100%.
think about. Shout out to Shay.
There's so many.
We just looked up on Google IMDb, and there's off the beaten track non-blockbusters. Hey, they're from Australia back in the day. Ones that I'd never heard of but sounded fascinating. That sounded awesome. There's a lot of stuff out there. So, excuse me, people, let us know. Yeah,
please.
Anything else anyone wants to say before we sign off? It's been a long one. Thank you to you both. I'm glad you both, enjoyed / appreciated the film.
There's a lot to unpack.
There was a lot to unpack in this one. Yeah,
it was a big film.
Yeah.
For simple setup.
90-minute film was big.
Exactly. Well, I'll do my sign off. Keep it buttery peace. This has been Mr. Popcorn.
Happy horror days.
I'd like to second that. Happy horror days. And that's me. That's me signing off.
Happy horror days. We'll see you next time. Yes.
Bye.
Keep it buttery peace.